Tyler is trying to open up a bottle of Topo Chico right now with his little hands, and it's truly hilarious.
And he's got a giant lighter in his hand.
I'm not kidding. I watched a mini lighter go from an extra large lighter to a mini lighter in 1 second when Tyler handed it over to Bryan.
Let me just move this. I'm scared of his tiny hands.
Yeah, should we get that? We should have Tyler like a nice sippy cup that he can drink out of.
Just under the...
While we're...
Oh, it's carbonated.
Yeah, it's Topo Chico.
Tyler's weird against By the way, do you remember? I don't know if you remember that. That's a quality of Tyler's. He's weird about carbonated water. He thinks it's weird.
The way he said it, it's almost like kind of homophobic. The way he talked about bubbly water, where he like kind of made it like it was sissy.
Bryan is onto something. You think you're above carbonated water, don't you?
It might be like a little bougie or maybe a little fresa to me.
What's fresa? I don't even, you know what? Don't tell me what that word is. I pretty much guessed it.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, R starts with an F too.
In Arabic?
Wow. The Arabic one starts with an M.
Yeah, the Arabic one starts, well, there isn't really a letter or a sound for it.
Imagine if an M and an A and an E were together in one letter.
Have you ever kept your mouth closed when you sneezed? That's as close as I can. That's as close as I can make to the sound.
Yeah, I tried to type it in, but there's no symbol that even looks like the letter that I'm using to make that sound.
Did you ever prank somebody by telling them to pinch their nose and keep their mouth closed when they sneeze? Like to see, because what we would do is we tell people, it's physically impossible to keep your nose and mouth closed, and then they do it and they hurt the shit out of their throat.
What's really funny about me, Bryan, and
Dude, this was on Mythbusters.
that you can't do
They
it.
tried to do it.
Yeah. Well, Bryan was not backed by. He's saying, he wasn't backed by science when he was saying.
No, I was in the back of a bus
trying to hurt somebody.
Yeah, you can bring this closer to you, dog. You don't gotta lean in.
Bryan was offended when the guy didn't die when he did that. But I will say,
his head explodes.
At a young age, I've always been concerned with liability and the issues that surround liability. I really always remembered as a kid being like, you know what? You don't want to get dragged into this from a responsibility standpoint. You let the other guys make these decisions.
Do you know what litigious means? You're talking to some 10-year-old Korean kid.
I really always, I didn't know what litigious meant, but I knew what it meant back then. I knew the song. You know what I mean? I didn't know the title.
It's like when, it's like when Picasso found painting.
Yeah, it's like, did painting find Picasso? You know what I mean?
It's always been in his heart.
Always been.
Yeah. Litigating has always been in your heart. And I think that leads us into a little check in your personal life.
Issues. Well, hold on. I can't. Okay, so really quickly, Bryan is talking about, did you see that I got into a pretty massive car accident recently, Tyler?
I had no idea.
I posted.
Should you be on camera without a neck brace?
Well, this is... Here's the thing. My neck and my back really hurt a lot, okay? And I know this is a comedy podcast, and we talk about a lot of joking subjects. That is not a joke.
This is so serious, I didn't make a pussy and I didn't ask about your pussy or your crack. That's how serious I'm taking this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Said his neck is back?
I know.
I wanted to.
Do you know how hard
But you know what? We're not goofing right now.
You know how hard it is to describe injuries to a personal injury attorney and not say my pussy and my crack while you're talking about it?
You should mumble it like as you're talking.
It's unfortunate.
It's my neck, my back, my
every single time. I literally have to always remind myself, like, nah, you can't say that. This is...
Yeah, you can't.
This is the person who...
Actually, although if there is a type of lawyer that would laugh at that. Personal injury lawyer.
Dude, well, listen. I've thought about this. I told Bryan, I said,
what I love? First of all, I just want to stop you right there, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I love how when we bring something up and you're not ready for it, you will still talk about it for 10 minutes, but the premise will be, but let's not talk about that now.
Wow, sorry, I went to a school of broadcasting, my man. That's called broadcasting, bro. You're always teasing for something that never comes. No one is ever happy at the end of a podcast.
It's the decoupled orgasm?
It kind of is. In fact, nobody even knows when a podcast ends. I have no idea when a podcast ends. I realize that I'm no longer listening to a podcast 45 minutes after it's over. So that's the game, fellas. We're constantly kicking the soccer ball, and we're hoping that they never actually want to see us play
Right,
game
right.
of soccer.
And I'm raised on that break the fourth wall style of comedy that's out of fashion now.
Which is
So
gone
I need to
now.
stop.
You need to completely
I
stop
need to
at
get
this
rid of
point.
that. Yeah, nobody does that anymore.
Well, in fact, we'll cut out this entire segment where we're telling folks
people
how
want
broadcasting
well,
works.
No, we'll cut this as a clip and we'll sell it to broadcast schools.
As a
And then, so
I
we'll
like
be like
that.
a textbook. We'll be an audio textbook for
that's so good.
podcasting and broadcasting.
That's so good. The do's and don'ts. We have a
Right.
do's and don'ts episode.
I call it broadcasting, but know that the casting is podcasting. So it's the exact same word, but it's actually the combination of...
It's the same word with an unnecessary explanation. We would know what you were talking about, whatever, regardless.
So imagine if you could... Yeah, so you got broadcast and you got podcast. So I merged them
Into two. So
into broadcast.
So Bryan, it's broadcast, capital B, capital C.
Yes.
And Bryan thinks that this. Well, it
This is
is.
brought to you by BP.
This is you, Bryan. We should put trademark broadcasting.
100%.
And we're explaining to the attorney. We're
No,
going.
it's not that broadcasting.
We understand it's a word, but I'm saying that the C is capital.
Do you understand? The casting is podcasting, and the broad is from broadcasting.
The attorney's like, look, I'm a personal injury attorney. I don't know anything about trademarking.
I would have said broad pod, but Richard Branson already had that down as a copyright. He's got broad pods, right?
That was supposed to be probably a first class virgin sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Where you get a broad in your pod.
In your pod.
You rent the pod, and there's a hooker in it.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
That seems like something Virgin Airlines would do.
Listen, you're doing a great broadcasting move here because you're teasing me into the sound check of today, because it is a subject that's near and dear to my heart, is segregation on airplanes, and I'm starting to think that maybe we should start seeing some moving forward. But before we get into that, I'm advocating.
Do you want to wait real quick? Do you want to clarify what kind of segregation? Are we talking class?
Sexual orientation. That is it, folks. In the sky, that's all I want to know. No, I think, listen, we'll get into it in a second. I think it should be class. I have a strong case for segregating classes on airplanes. And I think,
I think they've done that. That's what first class is. Are you inventing first class? You want to invent third class.
Well, you kind of, that's half of it. I want a first class, but it's the whole airplane.
That's called a private jet.
Yeah, but bigger. It's a big private jet. And everybody's first class.
And it still has the logo. It's still Southwest.
And I still want to pay only $69 to get from LA to New York. All right, play this first clip. Let me see. Is audio, are we connected here, or did we pull that lap? Okay, we're connected. All right. I want to see this. This will determine whether or not our sound is proper. This cable needs to be changed.
It will be.
Okay, so this is the first video. A passenger was arrested, I guess, after trying to open the exit door. Welcome to what? This is the world we live in now, guys. Like, I feel like this is now the most common story when people are just going crazy in the sky.
I was talking to Bruce Gray because he was on a flight that had a similar announcement that I had on Southwest. So I think I caught on to a psychological kind of trick they're trying to play on the kind of the people who act up on airplanes right now.
Yeah.
Where all the announcements are, when they announce the mask rule, they go, listen, we don't like the masks as much as you don't like them, but it is federal regulation. You have to wear. Yeah. They kind of toss them a anti-mask kind of vibe to like just to try to throw a little, tranquilizer.
No, I love that. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. That's so he was on Alaskan Airlines or some whatever Frontier, I guess. Yeah. And I was on Southwest. They both gave the exact same spiel, which was really like, look, if there's a Brandon on the plane, let's go. I don't want to wear the mask. You know what I mean? Just like really trying to calm people down.
I mean, if it were up to me, you guys would bring in whatever size bottle of water you want.
Yeah. And remember,
64 ounces.
The cushion under you can be used as a Confederate flag. It's like there's fucking Confederate flags all over everywhere. They're just like, look, we're trying to help you out here.
Yeah.
Just be cool.
That's so fucking good, dude.
Yeah.
You got to do it this way, man. Something is going horribly wrong in this country post-COVID, and people are, I can't tell if this is real. I don't know what's real anymore. Like, I can't tell if the media is creating a narrative. Like, something I just realized, we passed by the Super Bowl a couple days ago. Man, you know that whole like Super Bowl commercials thing? Is that real, or is that something that the media just sort of?
What do you mean? Is it real?
Do people actually give a fuck?
Yes, Tyler probably knows a lot of people who love the Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah, I probably do.
Dude, I legitimately.
Do they really though, or
Wait,
is
listen.
it some big fucking narrative
dude,
that was
tell 'em
crammed
what
down
Zach
our
said.
throats by CBS?
Tell him what Zach said in the group chat.
Well, no, I'll tell you this first. I have more firsthand experience. I was working a PA gig this weekend, and one of the guys I was working with. By the way, let me just say this real quick. I was working with this. I don't know what his deal was. He was an Asian kid from the Bay Area who loved musicals. And
Every time.
no,
I don't want to have to edit this, dude.
no, I'm not saying that. All I said, I'm just telling you what he told me. Told me he was Korean and that he loves musicals. So
Okay.
I'm just building the story here.
Something about Brian's face when he starts describing somebody, you just want to go. Think about this.
Yeah, there's a Bob Dylan line in a song where he goes, he's talking about a party where everything was going good, and then he goes, and then a guy starts dealing into slavery, and everything just died, and it's that vibe.
It's that, yeah.
Yeah. But listen, so this guy goes, he goes, I'm really sad that we're missing the Super Bowl because I'm a cinephile and I love the commercials. That's he was mopping a floor.
My honest to God, here's my honest to God belief: we should kill that guy. So, as a society,
You want me to give you an extra reason why we should kill him? We're getting paid. I don't mind saying the money because it's done. It's over. We were getting $650 a day.
Brian is
to do nothing.
Brian
Listen,
is the most tacky motherfucker on the goddamn planet. This guy cannot wait to share.
it worked for Trump. It worked for Trump.
But the $650 is not that much.
I know. But when you hear what this guy said,
Okay.
we're getting $650. Most of the day we're sitting on our asses, and we have. So Eli Manning's in there filming something. So we have crafty services fit for, a Hall of Fame NFL quarterback. We have unlimited great food and we're getting paid this. They asked the guy to do one thing. He, without sarcasm, goes, I'm not doing that. This is like slavery.
That being paid $650. Well, to me, it's kind of like slavery. I get it. $650 for a full day? I'm sorry? Is this charity?
Yeah, but one of the El Salvadorian guys goes, "Hey, there's some fools in Home Depot because Home Depot's right next door who do it for half that price and they'd be happy."
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "I was just kidding."
Well, you know what? Those El Salvadorians.
I hate this guy.
Yeah. He had this like really scary voice too.
To be honest with you, those El Salvadorians could suck it with that attitude. I don't like them fucking throwing their fucking willingness to work right at our faces.
Is there anything worse in the world when
Yes.
when you're a gig worker? Just in that frame. Now, of course, there's something worse. When you're getting paid a day rate, not hourly, and people don't move fast. They move like they're getting paid hourly.
Yeah.
I want out. I got things. I got dreams to chase.
Listen, man. This is while incredibly relatable.
I need some blue collar. We need some little blue collar stuff out there.
I want people to know that Ramsey doesn't get out of bed for less than $6.50 an hour. $150, that is.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's double. That's half the state minimum wage in California.
Well, here's the thing: if you pay to me under the table, I'll work for $6.50 an hour.
You're a guy who has no idea how bad, like what taxes are. You think they're so outrageous? Oh, dude, this is a steal. This guy's paying me $6.50 an hour, tax free under the table.
It is crazy how little taxes you pay underneath probably
100,000.
Underneath 100,000 in California, you don't.
California,
pay
you
very
multiply
taxes.
by 0.865, and that's how you know what you're going to make.
Now, granted, you're being taxed on the life that you're living. Like every single thing you pay for is 1,000 times more expensive than anywhere else. But
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't understand. Well, I don't want to get into Russia yet.
okay, all right. I like how that was going to get to Russia. We could do really. You could give us any word, and we'll take it to Russia.
I was gonna start talking about gas and the oil and all that stuff.
Okay. Brian and I, that's going to be our thing when we tour live. Is we tell people to give us a word, and we'll take it to Russia, China, or Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's like that old Kevin Bacon game, 7 Degrees of Russia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That'll be really interesting to see. Besides, by the way, aside from the Ukrainian thing going down, aside from, do you have that outline up, Tyler? I mean, how long are we going here? 18 minutes. Should we start the show? It's a little too early.
It seems early, but we
Can
can
I put a pin in it real quick? Let me say something. You mentioned my auto accident. I was in a bad auto accident. We kind of went a million directions since then. I'll be honest with you. I'm glad we made each one of those stops. I thought each one of those stops was amazing. But I do want to put a pin in something. We talked about maybe discussing some of the details of my case on the air.
I was not able to figure out how to telecast. Telestrate. Excuse me.
No worries. We have a little bit of time to figure it out. I, under sort of better judgment, have decided. By the way, we have real footage of me getting slammed by about.
That's what I wanted you to John Madden it.
Yeah, and footage of me getting in a car accident too. I could have got if I got that one out. That would have been hilarious.
I'm sorry.
Because I got footage of myself being slammed. And
yeah, I'm too eager.
Okay.
Do you have it on your phone?
I need to be present. No, it's in my emails.
It's in the emails, but here's the thing: it was sent to me by some weird program. It's you have to use a program that's exclusively used for security camera footage.
Yeah.
Can you use it on your phone?
No, I can only use it on a PC. We'll load it up. Here's the thing: under better judgment, I've decided that it's
Patreon?
Patreon only. If you want
to watch Ramsey mess up his C3 and C4 vertebrae, you got to give us at least $5.
I got hit maybe going 60 miles an hour, and beyond that, I'm talking strategy about my case with you guys. We're going open. We're getting to details. Let's just say,
I'm telling you, we're going to start this law firm of Ramsey and Bryan Sharia law.
Exactly, where we do. I offered Tyler. Can we talk about your legal issues?
Yeah.
Tyler's in some legal hot water right now. While he was out in Vegas, I won't say what he did or didn't do. We'll just say that he's being accused of driving under the influence.
Right?
Can I say what I did that got me busted?
What you did or didn't do, allegedly.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
What he was accused of doing.
I'm going to guess what really happened is that you were
allegedly.
This is my guess about what really happened.
Yeah.
Is that you were stone sober, but the phone book you sit on when you drive fell.
Yeah.
You could no longer see over the dashboard.
He spilled a little bit of beer on it earlier, so it smelled like beer, but he was stone cold.
Yeah. Because he has to bring it into the bar to sit on the bar seat, too. So that goes everywhere with him. Somebody else spilled the beer. Yeah. He was having Topo Chicos.
He probably left behind, the pedals he uses to, those feet extenders. It's like he left those at home, so he was using something else.
Am I in the ballpark? Yeah, he says yes. Okay. Yeah. So what happened?
All right.
So allegedly they're saying what?
That I stopped too hard at a red light.
Yeah.
Oh, so you followed the law?
Yeah, I stopped at a red light. But
you were
it was too hard.
Yeah. Well, listen. This is where I'm going to personally step in and interject it. Now, you are still litigating this, correct? I mean, litigating is not the right word.
Yeah,
but you're
my court date is next month.
Yeah. So, are you pleading not guilty?
I'll probably
no contest.
I'll probably plead guilty, right, and just take my.
Don't ask me. I don't
know. No, this is how much of a sissy I am. I'm like, I just think the thing to do is just say if I did something wrong. Just say I did it wrong.
No.
And hope for the best.
Absolutely not. Tyler, you need to immediately plead not guilty. You need to jam up our legal.
I do have a question.
Listen, and you've come to the right people. Now, granted, I do only practice Sharia law. I've already informed you of this. So the best I can do is advocate for your death. For DUI.
Not a finger.
It's alcohol, brother.
Oh,
brother.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All I can do is negotiate. Go like, can we make it a swift death, Your Honor?
Yeah.
Your Honor.
We can get you sedated.
Yeah. Can we sew his head back on?
For the funeral.
Yeah.
Which is another business we're starting.
Which is the other business
we're going to hire. Yeah. I believe.
Little weaker kids doing it?
No.
They can already sew.
I was going to say it's the only kind of sewing that I feel like Sharia law would allow dudes to do.
It's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of sewing. Like over here, you could stitch football laces.
Well, I suppose if you were putting together something to hold a bunch of bullets, I could see that being a
Have
good
we
case.
talked about this idea in a previous
episode?
Yeah. This was maybe an off mic possible.
Yeah, this is off mic. So the idea,
we have these conversations off mic.
Yeah, this is Tyler's idea. Offer is a business, because, we have a lot of business ideas at this podcast. We're kind of an idea machine, really, honestly.
Yeah. We're sort of an idea. What's the word? Can't even think of a second word.
No, wait. What's the word for when you think of something?
Yeah. Well, it's like a good at thinking. We're like
a good at thinking.
Together, it's like guys who are super good at it.
Like Steve Apple.
Like I love that Trump. Remember Trump? He was calling Tim Cook, Tim Apple. Apple. Your joke, your attempted to be a dumb guy was literally what the president did to Tim Cook, CEO of Apple. To be honest with you, it's better than calling him a homophobic slur. That I'm happy of.
Yeah.
That's honestly probably why he said Tim Apple. He was probably thinking of a slur.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get to that. Apple. Tim eats apple.
Well, he has word associations for the name, so he looks at the guy, he goes, Rosie O'Donnell, pig, apple, Tim Apple.
Yeah.
But as the idea machine, Tyler came up with the idea where a business in countries that are under Sharia law, where if you get beheaded for a small price, they will sew the head back on for a funeral.
Shark Tank. This is a great idea. We take it to the Saudi Arabian princes.
Yeah. You buy the idea, or you get the idea taken from you, or you get killed. Those are the two options.
But they give you the offer.
We could have this and give you nothing, or we can cut your head off.
What I would argue, honestly, I would come up to the Saudi Arabian princes for the show and go, listen, we need something that on paper we can show losses from, because your books make no sense whatsoever. What do you think about the idea of this show? We just give everybody all the money they want.
It's like, do you really think you're the first $1 trillion business?
I mean, it's just...
You're the only people stupid enough to say you made $1 trillion, Ramco.
There's a chance.
A Ramco?
A Ramco, yeah.
Ramco, yeah.
There's a chance, by the way, when I was a kid, so a lot of my uncles work for Aramco, which is the big oil. It's like, the BP of Saudi Arabia. So, I mean, that's their thing. That was like a big thing for me. It was like, dude, you can speak English and Arabic. Like, if you want to, they'll walk you into Aramco. Bam, baby, right off the bat, you'll be making 20,000 dinars a year. They're giving you their money, but you're just like, I think I make more money at Starbucks. Like, certainly.
Well, I don't know the math, but 20,000 of anything feels low for a whole year.
And I'm sorry, and is this remote work, or I have to live in Jordan?
Yeah. Are you telling me that the dinar is worth more than the American dollar? Because I'm sorry to be bigoted sounding, I'm skeptical.
Actually, believe it or not, I mean, look, the joke is great. I love the joke, A+ on the joke, but we do have what's called the petrodollar. The dinars in all those countries actually translate to more.
Oh, I mean, I know.
It would shock you.
In Kuwait, I know all about it. I mean,
$4 for one Kuwaiti dinar.
Yeah, people in Kuwait will come here and crush it.
Dude, my dad used to live in Kuwait. I mean, look, there's really a couple places you can try to live, but Kuwait's a great place. UBI, they've had a UBI since like the 70s.
Yeah.
If you're a Kuwaiti citizen, every month you get the equivalent of $3,000 a month from the government. They give you a car allowance.
Wow.
They give you all this amazing
all those
stuff.
really expensive countries are actually really manageable, and it's easier to live in Switzerland than it is in California, because I go to Switzerland every year, and like if you work at McDonald's, you're making like $60,000 a year. You can afford to have a 2-bedroom apartment. Mm-hmm. You could have kids in Switzerland and have a couple works at McDonald's.
It's why, not Switzerland, Sweden, but it's true about Switzerland as well. All of the pop, how all the pop songwriters, they all come out of there.
Yeah.
It's like, if I was living that lifestyle, those are the only songs I would be writing to. Right. Katy Perry's Firework would come out of me naturally. If I was getting
if you had no problems,
perfect health care.
Yeah.
I ride a bike to work on purpose.
Yeah, the government gives you like a skiing allowance.
The thing naturally off of my tongue.
Everybody's hot.
Everyone's beautiful.
Everybody's so fucking hot.
But these countries, of course, listen, and I don't want to be these countries, of course, have things that America. I mean, Kuwait is the size of Boyle Heights.
I know. It really
and it has all of the oil in the world down there. So
yeah.
It's such a wild, random thing. America has, I mean, we have our natural resources here, but It's a lot of country.
But the
this is a
fucking
problem.
Democrats won't let us get to them.
You're goddamn right they won't.
That's my father always. My father wants to drill Yosemite. He wants to drill all over Alaska. I mean, pipeline.
It's a solution that he thinks he thinks the states. A lot of conservatives think that we don't drill here. It's like we do plenty of fucking drilling here.
Yeah. I know.
You can't drill your way to solve this problem. Like, we are still invading 93 countries right now. Like there's no two ways around that.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. But what were we talking about before?
Your
we
car
got to
accident.
Yeah. So join the Patreon if you want to see that.
Yeah, we were briefly talking about Tyler's car accident.
Yes.
And then we were also briefly talking about yours. But what we will say is that we also won't discuss Tyler's on the main feed. So that's a double whammy.
That's a double whammy.
You want to hear 2 current court cases being irresponsibly discussed.
Tyler,
You got to give us $5.
Tyler did have one question. Let's give him a teaser. Tyler, what's the question do you have?
Could this help my case?
Yes.
The cops lost my credit card and they lost my car registration.
By the way,
No. The answer is a big fat no.
They can just lose your shit like that?
Yes.
It's a resounding
Have you ever been to jail?
Yeah.
I mean, now I have.
Did you get anything when you came out?
Just some of my
Like-
stuff that was missing that stuff.
Yeah. Every time I've gone to jail, it's like, here's your shoes with no shoelaces.
Yeah.
Here's your fucking empty wallet with a picture of somebody else's family in your wallet.
Tyler unvelcro. Tyler those 2 Velcro. Yeah. You know those little child shoes?
Yeah. Like Air Force Ones with 2 Velcro straps on them.
I'm picturing that. And Tyler's pile of clothing.
We took the liberty of dipping your baby's shoes in bronze for you. You had to leave in heavy bronze shoes.
Tyler, here's my advice to you. It probably isn't going to help. It doesn't hurt to bring up. Jam the system up. Your strategy here is to fucking just hold on as much as you
So
can.
you go like the Enron philosophy where it's like flooded with paperwork and
just make it so at the end they're like, dude, we will settle. Just like whatever we have to do because, you know.
this is like when you go up against big coal or whatever. Like say your whole town has cancer.
Yeah.
And you have a fucking watertight case. They just flood it with paperwork so that it just runs out of resources
And then
you
everyone
can't win.
dies.
You're not
everyone
talking-
dies and you can't win.
Remember, you're not talking. There's nobody there. No, it's you're going against the machine. You know what I mean? Like between the legal system and insurance and all this other horseshit, you can't feel bad about just dragging the system down and wasting all the taxpayer dollars. It's totally fine. I recommend this to everybody. Make sure if you get in any sort of legal, because these guys don't give a fuck about you. They hate you. You're not going to do anything for. There's this instinct that you have to be like, let me be an honorable man. In what world? In what system? The least honorable world and least honorable system ever?
Dude, I've been watching a lot of Charlie Manson speeches and he says a lot of shit like that.
It's becoming a problem. There are many. Okay, this is going to be a hard clip to not edit. But I was listening to the Nazi philosophy. I was listening
knew it.
to Nietzsche and the Nazis. I was listening to this professor doing a lecture, and he was talking about what sort of the Nazi movement, right?
Oh, is it this 80s college philosopher professor who
It's
has
a common thing because Nietzsche was described. By the way, this will also be involved in our Sunday school Patreon episodes. A lot of philosophy talk, but Nietzsche was somewhat inspirational to the Nazis. You know, with some of his ideas, but they were talking about what the Nazis believed. You know, and I was listening to it, and there was a lot of universal health care for everybody. Like they believed in that the state
National
should
socialism.
take all. So it was all this socialistic, and that's where I was like, this is horse shit. And then they would get into this thing of like the cultures. All cultures are not equal, and I was like, okay, I'm listening.
So essentially, Nazi Germany was a little too liberal for you.
I was listening to all the stuff that maybe you guys would love, and I was going, awful idea, bad.
Yeah, just really nice freeways, healthcare, just like the infrastructure.
Impossible to do.
Yeah.
Collective thought, no individuals. Come on. All right, we'll probably have to cut that out, unfortunately. I don't know if I can publicly go out and say I support the Nazi agenda.
don't know.
I feel like you publicly did not support the Nazi agenda, just the wrong parts.
Yeah.
You didn't support anything, really.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. We'll go with that.
That's funny. You didn't support the right.
I like the only good ideas that they had, I thought were like bad. They're bad ideas. I was like, well, I see what they're saying. I get it. It's a bit dumb.
I would have more jokes on this, but I'm trying to save us some time in post, so I'm keeping my mouth shut.
I have to figure out what we do with this, but whatever.
We just put it on silent, and we cut the audio and put classical music over this part.
Yeah. I like it. I like that idea.
But the kind that
join
like.
the
Wagner.
Patreon. Here's what we'll do. We'll join the Patreon. We'll do a little speed up there. Join the Patreon to hear this uncensored.
and play it in really fast, so then someone could slow it down.
Listen, at that point, if you've already given us your $5, that's fine. Do what you got to do. You have to use your $5 to destroy us.
Such a low barrier to be destroyed. It's less
Unbelievably
It's
low.
the same price as like a New York Times subscription, a digital one.
For $5 one time, you can destroy us. Now we have a pretty tame one. We have a pretty tame Patreon. Thankfully,
We've calmed down.
Yeah, we definitely calmed down. We had a
But
long.
it does. It's funny that you're talking about your personal injury lawyers, because it does remind me of one of our first episodes where I was going through a car issue and I had a crazy lawyer from the OC. That guy who said that he like wrecked like 9 cars on Quaaludes. I got into a car accident and the guy goes, "Oh, I've been there, man. I know exactly like you do. I took a couple ludes. I knocked out at the steering wheel, sideswiped about 9-10 cars, got out, ran. They found a bunch of coke." And I was like, that has nothing to do with what I went through.
I'm like nodding my head. Tyler and I are like, hey, we've all been there before. Tyler and I are like, Tuesday? Yeah, for sure, man.
What if we find out Tyler was actually driving Henry Ruggs' car, and when he says he got in a DUI, it's actually a murder charge he's facing?
Tyler,
he's on the run here.
I would really love it. Tyler tried to take a cop's gun. We thought that was just crazy.
Back up, SA!
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. So did you get a field sobriety test?
Yeah.
Oh, God, you did the field sobriety test?
Was I not supposed to?
Jeez.
They did the blood test.
Blood is fine. They have to take the blood. You never do a field sobriety test.
You mean the walking?
Yeah. You didn't do it?
Crushed it.
You think you crushed it.
I think I crushed it.
Yeah.
There, let me tell you.
He was doing the Saturday Night Fever dance. He doesn't remember it.
The police officers notes say that.
Yeah, because you understand you got to take their word for it unless they do film it, though.
Yeah, they film it. They do all this stuff. But it's only used to hurt you. They don't, it doesn't benefit you in any capacity. They only use it to build a case against you. That's why you guys got to download my PDF where I explain all of these rules, you guys. You know how Jordan Peterson has 12 rules to life? I have 29 rules generally to try to follow. It's a PDF. It's $4. Rule 14, never take a field sobriety test. Those guys aren't your friends. You may think they're your friends. You may be like,
you're turning into one of those, am I under arrest? Am I under arrest?
Am I being detained? Sir, am I being detained?
Yeah, one of those guys.
Dude, I'm a fucking absolutely one of those guys. What are they called? First Amendment soldiers? Or
I forget.
freedom of speech auditors? Sovereign citizens.
Sovereign citizens.
You ever see a sovereign citizen before, Tyler?
No.
You've seen the Mr. Show sketch where David Cross ends up like wearing blackface to try to incite an officer to fuck. Oh,
Pull up Sovereign Citizen on YouTube right now, and while you pull that up, I feel like, by the way, maybe, Bryan, once every 4 months, we bring up Sovereign Citizens and we play a couple minutes of them. So I feel like our people who listen to the show.
The last one we watched was some guy walking around the streets in Orange County. I don't even know what he was looking for.
He was auditing his First Amendment, his right to.
Is he auditing or exercising?
So, you were auditing it to see if he was going to be harassed.
I see.
He walks around basically being like, whether or not La Palma passed them, their freedom of speech test or whatever. And we didn't. Something I've been saying for years.
So, of which of these recommended searches should I click on for sovereign citizen?
Wait. Let's see. What's the first one say? Getting what?
Owned.
Click on getting owned. That's fine. We'll watch one of them get owned.
I guarantee you, Rams, you'll have a different perspective on this.
Them getting owned.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a psycho, and it's becoming a problem.
Owning is in the eye of the beholder.
I fully agree with you wholeheartedly on this one. There are a couple of good ones, though. There are ones where the guy thinks he's pulling a good one, and the cop just shoots his windshield in. It's just amazing.
Which one should I play?
Play that first one. All right, so this one's called Sovereign Citizens Getting Owned Compilation.
Wow.
These are some of the best compilations, TBH.
But we told you he's an Article 4 free inhabitant, so he does not have to have a license.
Hey, pause really quick.
This is on recording.
He's an Article 4 freedom inhabitor.
So, Tyler, you should know they have terms that they have for this kind of stuff where they're like, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. That's what you'll commonly hear them say. You have a freedom, you have a constitutional right to travel based on something.
This is like when fucking Captain Kirk meets a Trekkie and they speak to him in like fucking Klingon. And he's
exactly.
like, bitch, I don't know that shit.
So I just want you to know that what is going to sound like somebody insanely rambling who has bipolar disorder to you is a very specific terminology. It's not crazy at all.
Okay.
So what she just said right there.
It's quite logical.
I know it sounded crazy to you. But to the trained deer, what she just said was absolutely reasonable.
The trained ear. Okay.
Article 4, free inhabitant pursuant to the Articles of Confederation. You can look it up. It's in the United States Book of Codes.
Love
It
that
is
they're in the
your law you
desert
have
right
to
now.
follow.
Yep.
This is a conversation that only happens on the side of a desert.
Article 4, free inhabitant pursuant to the Articles of Confederation.
Put the camera down for me. Is that if it records, that's fine. But I don't want you holding anything.
No weapons, no weapons. All right, no.
Okay.
So what I'm going to ask you to do is the same thing.
And get out of the car?
Yes.
No, I'm not getting out of the car.
All
You
right.
can go get your superior.
Well, I am going to tow this car, and you cannot be in the vehicle while I'm towing this vehicle.
Well, if you go get your superior,
That's not
he'll
gonna happen right
clarify that he can be set free because he does not
That's
have
not
to have
going
a
to
license.
happen right now, young lady.
He doesn't have to have a
You're going
license.
to come out of the car.
This is why I could never be one of
your
these
own
guys,
free
by the
will.
way, because I would be
Or I'm
too
gonna
fixated on like, hold on, I got to take the
I'm gonna
keys
get
out of the thing.
car
It's
and walk down to that house.
it's just going to keep chiming.
Yeah,
People aren't going to be able to
I-
hear what we're
honestly,
saying.
I can't hear a word you're saying with this
Authority
beat.
over me?
Yes, I do.
You have proven authority over me.
Yes, I do.
How did you do that?
The County of Imperial through the
Oh,
sheriff.
here we go.
That's from my town.
Ah.
That's El Centro.
So how are you?
Those cops are horrible.
I got to be honest with you. Would you guys think that was hip? What is that? Was that owning from your guys' point of view?
No, I did not see anybody get owned. I just saw two douchebags talking to each other.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
good.
you're talking about the cops right now who are just going back and forth. Obviously she was cool.
She was, yeah, sure.
That was fucking awesome that she knew about. By the way, it seems like they were citing the Confederate Constitution.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
what.
she kept saying Confederation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
sounds like Star Wars talk.
I'm sure she's knows more than we do. I'm sure Confederation means something illegal, but
Positive she knows more than we do.
yeah, that's fair.
Gotta get me one of these chicks, dude.
The girl who says pursuant.
My next girlfriend is gonna be somebody who either like gets into like being a sovereign citizen, or maybe like converts to Islam and goes and fights. Like these chicks
Yeah,
who like.
yeah.
I need one of these like down chicks. I need like a white chick who converts to Islam and like wears the hijab and only cooks Arabic food. Like I need one of these down chicks.
Okay, well, I could introduce you to a few.
If you could introduce me, if any female listeners out there are also sovereign citizens,
But
email
and
us.
also converted Islam.
well, I'll take one or the other.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not going to be fucking a nut.
Yeah,
a
you're not
nut
looking
bag.
for Wonder Woman.
I'm either looking for a white woman who's a sovereign citizen. Actually, I prefer a Latina who's a sovereign citizen. That seems even crazier.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Any big booty sovereign citizens out there? Look, I want a sovereign citizen with a fat ass.
Or a super white chick who's willing to convert to Islam. Just a really average white woman. Super.
The articles of "can suck my dick." You know what I
Ooh,
mean?
I like that. Yeah. How about confuckeration? I mean,
Yeah, that's good.
Since we're there with
Yeah,
that
no, that's great.
Yeah. All right. What do we have here? Oh, what's the first thing we're bringing up? Oh,
Well, we had brought it up before. We can play it now. Airline passenger.
So it's in the airline passenger clip. I guess we
That's
know.
good news.
I guess we know the audio works, but okay, let's play the audio. Let me take a look at this. Oh, sorry.
Flight diverted after a passenger tried to open exit door.
Allegedly tried to open an emergency exit.
What was his plan after that?
Honestly, let's not act like we've never been there before.
Right, was he just trying to commit suicide, or?
I've been bored where I'm like, I'm gonna try to do something. I'm gonna try to get something done.
When you're on a long flight and there's no outlets, your shit dies.
My favorite thing here is that they've chosen to go with a Middle Eastern guy to like explain what happened.
Yeah, he looked like he was like Tajikistani.
This is NBC, so they're definitely trying to really like play it up.
He looked visibly scared, worried, as a flight attendant just sort of
concerned.
yelling for the lights to be
I like
turned on,
that.
and the plane starts descending rapidly.
The flight, normally a straight
Do you think
shot
like
from LA to
learning how to look concerned is part of journalism school now, where it's like you have
100%.
to have like a look in your eyes?
Well,
of, like,
intent listening is, I mean, that's just salesmanship. You know that.
when the cameras come back, I'm gonna be really intently listening to you moving forward.
Like at the front, like splattered around, like the flight attendant had blood stains on his white shirt.
American Airlines praising the crew for jumping into action, writing in a statement, "We're grateful to our crew members who are consistently dedicated to the safety and care of our customers."
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, here's my thing. Do you think that maybe he just had to fart and he was trying to be nice?
Trust me.
Yeah, you're gonna want this open. I'm lactose intolerant. I've been eating airport food for 12 hours.
Here's my problem with that door, by the way, is why can't they make that door that attaches to the plane? How come when you open it, it's always got to
It just
fly?
flies off.
It just flies off. All other doors seem to attach to hinges, but these
Right,
ones wide open. Because I'm with you. It's a good idea.
Right. And also, do they still have to do the inflatable slide down? Like, is there not enough technology to make stairs? What if you're in a wheelchair and you're coming out of that plane? They just throw you down the fucking...
I have an earnest belief that if airlines just make Wi-Fi free, all of these problems go away. I have a belief.
And maybe a little more food.
A little more food. Like to me, the airlines brought this on themselves.
Yes.
They started cutting costs that don't make any fucking sense. Make every ticket 22 cents. I keep fucking hitting that cable. Make every ticket 20 cents more expensive and just force everybody to pay for Wi-Fi. What is this weird game of like, we'll get $8 at a time?
I know. And it only works for 8 hours. And there's a countdown. It brings your anxiety up as you see the meter going down
Give
on your
us
Wi-Fi.
a small piece of beef jerky and free Wi-Fi.
Some protein and some Wi-Fi.
and I guarantee you, all the fights are done.
Yes.
I guarantee you, there's no riffraff people because people are getting separated from their phones. They're losing their minds.
Yeah. You need, like, listen, what happens when like a 6-year-old throws a temper tantrum now? You throw an iPad at him.
Give them the iPad.
It's gone.
So what are we doing taking iPads away from 6-year-olds who can fight?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who have amendments tattooed on their arms.
Should we? And by the way, you know what? Shouldn't we at this point just start going like, okay, listen, there are flights that are mask optional, flights that are non-mask.
Yeah.
That way, whoever wants to have a sane airplane trip, they can fucking go and go into the one without the mask or whatever.
Introducing like locker up airlines or whatever.
Yeah. Hoax Air.
Yeah, we'll have two. We'll have locker up airlines for that brand of anti-masker, and then we'll have like green organic air for the like Russell Brand hippie type of.
Yeah, because we're not gonna fucking just pick one side. That would be a really dumb decision.
No,
you got to play both sides.
Yeah, because there are 2 degrees of the anti-COVID protocol people. There's the athletes. I want to control what goes in my body. Type like organic food people, and then there's the Republicans who are just like, I hate Joe Biden, so I don't want to wear a mask or whatever.
Yeah, there's and to be honest with you, there's guys that cross over the lines sort of each direction every single day. So
of course,
I'm good with that. I'm good with
because I would go on the hippie no mask one.
I would go on the no mask. I would go on the no mask. Let's go,
MAGA,
Brandon.
Yeah,
let's go, Brandon Harris.
Make America Great Airlines.
Yes,
MAGA,
exactly.
MAGAir.
It would be a more fun flight And that's what I'm looking for, folks.
They just wouldn't put doors on it. It would be like on an open boxcar. They'd be like, listen, if you want to jump out, you can. I don't, whatever. We have extra like bipolar meds in the bag. If you run out.
Instead of giving you like a safety thing to put a mask on, they're like, look, underneath all of your seats, there's a gun
and a Bible.
with one bullet in it.
And a Bible.
Should this thing start to go down, you're more than welcome to blow your heads off.
Yeah. Welcome to Make America Great Airlines, where Donald Trump is still our president. You'll be noticing under your seat you have a gun and a Bible. In case of an accident, kiss your ass and make it good with the Lord, because we ain't gonna do shit for you. This is not a welfare service.
We have parachutes.
Yeah.
What about the Holy Spirit Airlines? Kind of like a Christian one. So those are the Christian religious non-maskers.
Oh, that's a third branch of them.
Third
Although
branch.
I do think they would cross over with the MAG Air.
We'll have a couple here and there. Yeah, a couple imams going both ways.
So there's like red eyes that are very specific, but during the day it's a little broader.
And then we have a plane for just black people. I'm saying, no. If they want. If they want.
You know what's funny? The way you said it sounded super racist, but I could totally see a government-funded program
for if you want.
For marginalized flyers. You know.
You guys are going to take that out of context. I know someday I'm going to lose a job over that.
Well,
because it will be taken out of context. I'm saying if the black people want to start their own airlines.
Like an HBC type airline, like Morehouse Airlines.
Exactly.
Jackson State Airlines.
Hell, even Soul Train Air. You know, like what's that movie called? Soul Plane? Soul Plane. Damn it. Soul Train.
It's literally a plane.
So
it's not a train.
It's a train. Yeah. Obviously, this is going to be taken out of context. My biggest fear is that it's taken in context, to be honest with you. Best case scenario, it's taken out of context.
The best one in that compilation you're referring to, with certain people who get caught saying certain words say it was taken out of context. My favorite one is when Rogan is going to the guy, he goes, say it. Say it. Just trying to get somebody else to say it. And then he comes back and goes, that video was taken out of context.
He said it to fit Simmons.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was telling me she did a show last year or whatever with Rogan, and she was like, this, or maybe it was even a year and a half ago. It was like pre-pandemic possibly, but she was saying like Rogan was like doing a lot. He was doing like one of those stand up on the spot shows. Does a lot. She was like, he did a lot. I remember her coming home and being like, he did a lot of N-word material. Like he kept saying the N-word.
Like 2 years ago?
Like 2 years ago. She was telling me like, I remember her saying that. I remember being like, huh. Yeah, you know, probably context. Why people let him have it or whatever.
You're taking him out of context.
No, I meant
the
like,
context. It was on the spot. It was improv comedy. What's he supposed to do?
Yeah, he didn't know. He didn't have another word that he could think of.
It's on the tip of his tongue if it's not pre-written.
It's improv. It's psyche. You're gonna get mad at a guy for having a subconscious mind.
Yeah, when you make me improv, I cry for my mother. That's
exactly
what happens.
It is what it is. So I've always known he had this issue, but I thought for a long time
his issue.
Very good Hollywood secret, well-known secret. Louis was jerking
Liberace's
off.
secret.
Louis was jerking off in front of everybody.
That would not be a scandal if he was jerking everybody off.
Oh, that would be great.
He'd be on the cover of magazines.
That's true.
That would be consensual stuff.
Unless you're assuming. What if somebody didn't want him?
God, that would be terrifying. If Louis let me jerk you off.
He actually looks like a clown. He actually looks like a clown coming to jerk you off.
So what's on the dock, Tyler?
Tyler, what's on the syllabus?
Oh, yeah, the syllabus. Okay, I forgot. My bad.
Take two. Tyler, what's on that syllabus? We got a great show for you guys today. Tyler, what's on that syllabus? Can we do like a beat underneath that?
Like a slap bass type thing?
Yeah. Okay, anyways.
Hey, yo, Tyler. What's on the syllabus?
Yeah, what's on the syllabus today, Tyler?
Okay, today we have the American West is now in the middle of a mega drought. Norway's doomsday seed vault received a major deposit.
I don't agree with that. Bryan and I just don't agree.
We picked the story.
Every story, I don't agree with it. Not.
What else?
Russia's looming Ukrainian invasion.
Ooh, I don't agree with that. Or I do agree with that, actually.
Both.
Both. We're 50-50 on that one.
Trudeau invokes emergency powers amid trucker protests over COVID restrictions.
Ooh, that'll be a good one. In fact, is there anything else?
There's a couple things that we may not have time to get into, so we won't read those.
We may not have time to, but hey, welcome to the show. Still not going to name. We have rebranded our show, but we're not going to announce that information yet.
Yeah. It's all we're like the Washington football team right now.
Yeah.
We're taking a year with no podcast name, but eventually we'll come out. We will be.
We were going to call ourselves the Redskins.
We were going to call ourselves the Commanders, and then that was taken.
That was always taken. Everything is always taken with these people.
So we are the Los Angeles podcast at the moment.
Can we actually call ourselves the Los Angeles? Bryan, you may have actually just hit the actual real. I actually think that might be a funnier name.
The Los Angeles podcast team.
The Los Angeles football team podcast.
You want to talk about the most AI generated sounding podcast name, the Los Angeles podcast?
I'd be completely honest with you.
It's so generic it might not be taken.
I'm not walking away. When we leave here today, I'm going to be arguing the whole way out that the new show is the Los Angeles podcast. What's your podcast about? Well, it's a lot of things, but
not Los Angeles. We almost
never mentioned Los Angeles before.
My dad always calls me and he's like, "Are those fires near you?" And I'm like, "What fires?" I'm like, "I'm reading about Tajikistan's coup right now. I didn't know there were fires down the street.
There's literally smoke filling your room."
Yeah, and I'm like reading about, fuck, dude, Azerbaijan sounds like it's messed up right now.
Wow.
There's a podcast called the Los Angeles Podcast of Anaheim.
Oh, that's a joke on the Angels.
That's actually not too bad. That's actually pretty good.
I don't know if it's a joke because they only release episodes that are 20 minutes long.
No, but the Angels, that's the official Angels name.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
That's pretty. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good local
essentially
joke.
the same joke we were making, but
basically, yeah.
You know, we were going to Washington.
Theirs is a little clearer because it's sort of probably about baseball or whatever. So
the Los Angeles podcast. What do you talk about? International stuff.
Mainly international stuff. Mainly nothing in
Anything but
honestly, we're like trying to desperately figure out how to get out of Los Angeles.
More than anything, one time we talked about Saint Los Angeles, who's was a conqueror from Spain.
I was talking to you one time off mic, I remember, and we were just naming places we would move to, and we both just agreed frenetically about each town. We just listed towns.
Right.
I said Denver. You go, I moved to Denver.
Let's do it. I'm ready to go.
The only town we said no way to was Austin.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do: national contest to get us to move there. You guys have to basically, we'll do maybe.
We have to join the Patreon to even have a say on where we move.
Without a doubt, and then we'll just leave it up to the Patreon.
Yeah,
basically they'll fund the whole move.
Is this how we end up in like Kirkland, Washington, or something?
We end up in Afghanistan under Taliban controlled territory. By the way, we are destroying Afghanistan in a way that's hilarious. Right now.
That's something we might get into. But do you want to get into the other thing first?
Let's talk. You want to talk about the drought first? Is that anything? Is that? Look, there's scientists are saying we've entered we have been in a period of megadrought. There's no video here, so there's nothing to really show.
I'm always skeptical when I see these where they're like, it's a 12,000 year drought. And I'm like, is it though?
They're saying that in the looking at the data of the last 1,200, or I'm sorry, is it the last 1,200 years, Tyler? Can you see
13,
that?
I think.
We've had the Western United States is experiencing a mega
1,200
drought.
years, you're right.
1,200 years. This is the driest of the last 1,200 years.
This is the driest we've been in 1,200 years.
Yes, correct.
Oh, I thought they were saying that in the scale of time, this drought has been 1,200 years long.
No, they're saying that we've entered a period. Now, this is also one of these climate change groups that are doing these studies. So keep that in mind.
Is there any oil money in this?
If there's no oil money in it, I don't know if it's worth listening to.
Quite the opposite.
I mean, as the official podcast of BP, I do feel like this could be bullshit.
Can I say this? Here's why I don't believe in climate change. No, I believe in it. I just don't believe in trying to help.
Well, the word believe, the real root of it is I would like to think that. That's the true definition of the word believe. So yeah, sure. I believe in climate change. I would like to think they're telling me the truth.
I think it's real. I'm pretty sure the science is there. It seems to be real. Here's my problem with it. Is I think, and I admire anybody who really makes it their cause in life. There's a reason why celebrities and shit get involved in climate change. Because people who get involved in the movement of climate change have a belief and a confidence in themselves that they can make a difference.
Yes.
To me,
I can save the world.
The world.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even get myself to stop watching porn. You're asking me to help it stop becoming hotter? This is an absurd. This is a task that is beyond my capabilities.
Is this the direct episode after the Matt Lockwood episode?
It is.
Oh,
yeah.
perfect.
Oh, no. We have one coming out tonight at midnight. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there was so much porn talk in there where it's just really funny when you were like, what kind of porn do you guys watch? And then you are the only one who answered
I'm the only one who answered
and you lost your mind.
I didn't answer anything?
You cowards all wouldn't get into it. I was like, all right.
I'm the only one who's answering it.
It was a coward cat. It was a cast of cowards that day.
Tyler, never mind.
Tyler,
I don't.
You've already revealed enough about your.
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Yeah. Well, Tyler's like, I don't mind, bro.
Tyler's ready to get into it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting an Oculus next week, and then we can talk about it.
What if you get the Oculus and I get the flashlight?
Ooh. And then I jerk you off with the with the flashlight, and I picture I'm jerking off Bryan using the Oculus Rift, of course. On every level, it's disturbing.
Oh God, I didn't even want to keep it going. I felt like I wanted to swat that ball out of the air and put it right on the ground.
All right, man. Hey, man, if you want to be homophobic like that, that's up to you.
Real quick, one of those Salvadorian guys who you said could suck it.
Yeah.
When I was working this weekend, he was this like hood ass dude from South Central, but he kept telling me how much he loves dinosaurs over and over again. He goes, hey, bro, I fucking love dinosaurs. And there was an Oculus on the table, and he goes, hey, is that Oculus taken? And somebody's like, I don't know. And he goes, because I'm going to take that because I heard you could play like dinosaur shit on that Oculus. And he's like, hey, bro, you seen the new trailer for the new Jurassic Park? Dude, it looks fucking lit, bro.
Any idea, like, why was he, is there something about it? Was there some indication like, hey, man, like, my dad was an archaeologist or?
I'm going to guess his dad was an archaeologist, but only because he didn't mention it.
Sure.
But, because that would come up. If your dad's an archaeologist, that would be the second thing I'd bring up.
It would be, yeah. It'd be I'd bring it up pretty quick.
But no, I don't know what it was about that, but he was so funny too because he was literally like a Chris Estrada character, a friend of the show, Patreon guest way back. But he would say things that were so emotionally available in that South Central accent, which was so funny because he'd be like, I don't like the fool in charge of us, bro. He's like, he's one of those guys who gets super uncomfortable when he's angry, so he doesn't know how to express it. So it just comes out like all mangled and like extra fucking aggressive, bro. It's like, relax. And it was really insightful. And
he seems like a thoughtful young man.
Yeah, he was brilliant. And he loves dinosaurs.
He's not wrong. Dinosaurs are fucking badass. There's no question about it. It's actually shocking we don't talk about dinosaurs more on this podcast.
Yeah, I know.
It actually shocks me.
We do talk about monkeys a lot.
You would think that with our obsession with monkeys, every once in a while we take a break and dip our toes in dinosaur.
Right. And I'm not surprised this guy was smart because he's from South Central. I'm surprised he was smart because we were colleagues. And I generally don't find myself working jobs where we're all smart.
Yeah, well,
we're all a bunch of dumbasses who they hand mops to. They're like, go mop.
To be fair to both of you, he's probably operating beneath his pay grade, and you're where you're supposed to be.
Yes.
So just to make you feel better about that.
He should have been in charge.
He should have been in charge,
Yeah.
but sometimes emotional stuff gets in the way, man, and you don't go for what you should go for.
Yeah.
But
This other guy was like real rude to him, and earlier he had mentioned that he was like, hey, when people are rude to me, bro, like, I'm like, fuck that shit. That's your shit. That's not my shit, bro.
He's so tight.
Yeah. And then this guy was a dick to him about eating in the crafty services area where he's like, you can't eat here. And you got to take your food and go somewhere else. And then the guy was just really condescending and rude to him, this old white guy.
I never got why it is that these crew guys call it crafty. What's wrong with just calling it craft services?
I don't know.
It just seems to me like it's not that
It's
much
quicker.
more stuff.
It's quicker.
Yeah, but there's always a part of me when you say crafty that stops for a second and goes, he's talking about craft services. In my head, I got to take the extra minute and be like, that means craft services.
But you could make a case against any abbreviation with that, though.
Crafty's one that I don't quite accept, to be honest with you.
Fair enough.
Every time I hear you say it, it sticks out to me a lot.
Sure. Sure. Especially because we're the crew. We're not even like the talent. Like it's not there for us. They resent us whenever we touch it.
Yeah.
But also,
that's what you get for being in a union.
I know.
That's why they don't like you, is the union part. They resent you for your politics.
But yeah, so you know how people talk about themselves and it's always bullshit? Well, that guy was really rude to him. And then as we walk out, I was like, dude, that guy was a dick. He goes, I don't give a fuck, bro. That's his shit. I don't give a fuck. Like, and he was like, he was really honest about it. And I was like, dude, you're like my Mr. Miyagi or some shit. I'm like, can you come help me like level up emotionally?
If he wants to come on the podcast ever, let me know.
Yeah, he was sick, dude. I like that dude.
Do you guys exchange phone numbers, Facebooks, email?
Phone numbers.
I do email addresses with people. I'll email you.
I do. But do you notice the group text?
What about it?
Your name in the group text is whatever your email address is. That's what comes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I didn't want to give that away, but
it's because I'm probably messaging you from the message function
from an Apple store.
Yeah, I go to an Apple store.
You just jump into an Apple store.
Not even the same Apple store every week. Every time you guys get a text from me, it's a different Apple store.
Yeah, you're at the Van Nuys one. You're at the fucking Pasadena one.
Putting so many miles on my car.
Dude, when I go to the Apple store with Preacher and he'll go to get like a new phone, he'll like take his iWatch and other stuff and just go put it to charge on the display.
I do the same thing. I've done that before. Where you're on. Anytime I'm on the road, I'll always stop at an Apple store and fucking hang out in there and fucking plug my phone in while I'm playing Angry Birds on an iPad somewhere else. Like, I'm not even there to buy anything. At least Preacher's buying something.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't know if I've ever bought anything from an Apple store. I've used their insurance.
I recently purchased a brand new phone from the Apple store, and that was because the government PPP loans funded it. I had to go, unfortunately. Yeah. You have to get a receipt. Yeah. It's the only way that the PPP loans work. Does anybody remember that when last year when the government, everyone was just getting $80,000 for no reason?
You know, I actually still have to apply for my forgiveness. I keep forgetting.
I got mine forgiven.
Yeah, mine. They keep messaging me that it takes. They're like the messaging for my loan forgiveness. They like it's starting to get to the headline of the emails, bro. It takes 30 seconds.
It's truly insane.
It's like hurry up.
Yeah, it's truly
going to be
insane.
April any minute now.
I just got a letter from the government that was like, forget about it, dude. Don't even worry about it. We know that you used that money well, and I did use it well.
Yeah,
I mean, we're looking at basically.
Look at this.
This is like easily.
That.
Now we're just pointing at stuff on the bike. This and that. Pointing at Tyler.
Yeah, we got Tyler cheap for the PPP loan.
Pretty much everything. Every single thing. So, yeah, I got my car too, but hey, it's a business expense. I got to drive to and fro places.
Right.
All business.
How else you got to get a person?
I mean, I'd love to do an Uber, but it's going to be crazy.
I know. Dude, the prices on Uber. Don't get me started.
Yeah, they're insane. I tried to Uber my girlfriend somewhere and it was $80.
He was trying to Uber her to another state.
Yeah. Why were you trying to Uber her? You didn't have time to give her a ride?
Oh, I just didn't feel like it at the moment.
Dude, Tyler,
I was tired.
That's a cool ass move.
She had to get her ride to her food truck.
Oh, she owns a food truck.
I didn't tell you that?
No, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, she makes empanadas, dude.
Whoa, that's
in Tyler's
crazy.
world, that's like a CEO.
Ask her if she'll sponsor the pod. Tell her we have tons of people around here who love empanadas. Bryan's friend.
I don't want any sponsors from the sweet empanadas, though.
No, they're not sweet. She only makes ones with me.
All right, I hate sweet empanadas.
Sweet empanadas stink.
You ever had like a
terrible.
pumpkin one, dude? Ugh. It's delicious.
I don't want a pumpkin anything. The thing about pumpkin is, I get it. What you're telling me is, worst case scenario, you could eat one of these if you have to. But as long as other shit's here,
so it's like horse meat to you.
Yeah. Like I get the part where you're going like, listen, want to hear something crazy?
You see that basketball over there?
You know these things we carve every year and we just throw them away?
Now you have to boil it and mix it with milk and cinnamon and sugar and cream.
You can eat it. So I hear you on that. But if whipped cream is available or something else, use that, please. Pumpkin anything.
I love pumpkin shit, I'm not going to lie.
I mean, listen.
Pumpkin pie is like my favorite pie.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun. To be honest with you.
I love it.
It's good, but it's probably the worst pie.
You're crazy.
You're insane.
What's the worst pie?
I think it's better than
apple pie.
Apple pie is better.
Apple pie sucks dick.
Pumpkin pie to me, I mean, it's just so contextual, where it's like, it's part of a thing and Thanksgiving. Like, I'll have it. It's good. But you get me in a restaurant, I'll never order pumpkin pie. I'll order everything else before I order pumpkin pie.
Not me, man. And I'll tell you what, my favorite pies are pecan pie, pumpkin pie. I like a Boston cream pie.
Solid picks.
Yeah. I like a just any kind of chocolate pie.
I like a lemon or a key lime mixed in there.
Not me, man.
You know, I'm like a banana cream dude. I'm a strawberry cream dude. I'm a peanut cream dude.
Do you get that big hard meringue one that nobody ever buys? That big pillowy, crusty thing?
I finally tried it one time. The
is
meringue.
It hollow?
Dude, it's fucking, it'll knock your dick out how fucking weird it is. It's
is
moist.
it a piece that tall, though?
It is, and it's hard on the outside, but kind of moist on the inside. It's a horrendous texture.
You ever had those?
A
Do you
meringue
know what
pie?
I'm talking about?
I don't think I've ever seen one.
A meringue pie? It's at every pie, like any shop that has pie. And you ever been to House of Pies?
No, but I mean, the pies that my girlfriend makes for her truck are lemon meringue
Tyler
pies.
really wants us to know he has a girlfriend.
Dude.
He loves that he has a girlfriend.
Did I tell you I also have an assistant at work?
You have an
I
assistant?
just want to brag right now. Dude.
Where is he? You should get an assistant for here.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely taller than me.
Yeah. You should get an assistant for in here.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
Tyler.
He's just over the shoulder, so you're going to pull up this down. Yeah. Okay, make sure it's at the right place. Turn the sound off.
Tyler, what do you do for work?
Are
you allowed to say?
I'm the facility manager at a movie theater.
In his culture, that's like a CEO.
Yeah.
He just keeps it. Me and my girl are killing it, dude.
Yeah, dude. That's in La Forbes magazine. They're going to be on the top 50.
So what? If you work your ass off on this one, you'll be facility supervisor next year.
Go to supervisor.
He'll basically be that Eddie Murphy cartoon, the PJs or whatever. Back in the day, he'll be the main character there.
Tyler's the movie Soup.
Yeah. He gets a Louisiana Slugger plunger. You know,
he's a job.
Dude, they gotta make those. That's sick.
Yeah. Of course they do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's good, man. I'm glad that's all. And you have an assistant who works beneath you.
Yeah.
And you do you boss him around?
Do you Charlie Rose him? Do you show up in just a bathrobe with your cock hanging out?
He goes, I got a little facility that needs some assisting.
That's funny. 'Cause I have to open the door to let him in the building every day. I could totally do that.
Yeah.
Tyler, I feel like I would you working in a movie theater. You must have such joy.
His office is a fucking toilet stall, and he has a Matt Lauer button on it. When he comes in, he's sitting on the toilet, and it just locks him in the toilet stall.
That's so funny.
Power dynamics can happen at any level,
and they can, and you got to be careful. And if you do, by the way, find yourself at the wrong end of a power dynamic, be sure to call the Wilshire Law Firm. They do an amazing job. They're representing. I can't say who they're representing, but they're representing somebody in and around this podcast.
So our sponsors today are Tyler's Girls Empanadas and the Wilshire Law Firm.
Most, by the way, if you look at the most amount of money won in California for personal injury cases,
Which I often do Google that.
You'll see that they're in 5 out of the 10 cases, top 10 cases. So it's a pretty respectable firm these guys are, and subscribe to our Patreon to get more details on that. Can I say this final thing about climate change? Final thing on climate change. Here's what I want to tell all the people. I know we have a lot of kids who listen to this show. Well, parents, and then they have their kids around, and they irresponsibly let this show play while their kids are listening.
Well, also, we are plugged into every Head Start program.
That was a lucrative deal we made.
Yeah.
Last move Trump made on the way out. He gave us.
CNN's at all the airports.
Yeah, we're plugged in on all that starts.
The Los Angeles podcast football team is the official podcast of
Head Start program, at least in California. So, but
founded by Jackie Kennedy.
If you're a child out there, or maybe you're a parent and you have a child and you're trying to figure out how to get your child motivated, everyone's goal should be to have a job where they can affect the climate. Because I realize if you can't affect the climate, you're living a horrendous life in this world. Mm-hmm. You want to be somebody who gets to ride on a jet, or somebody who when they want to do like a rally, they can get a rally together. If you by yourself can't affect the climate one way or the other, unfortunately, you're a loser in this world, folks. That's just it.
Just be Leonardo DiCaprio.
Be Leonardo DiCaprio. Live a life where you can hop on a private jet or call a rally or, get into some guy's ear if you want to talk to some. But Right now, if I tried either direction, nothing will happen.
Climate change is the perfect cause for an actor because you get to express like hatred towards humanity in the way that a lot of those actors feel.
Yeah.
But you can still feel righteous about it instead of just feeling superior. You can be like, you scum are destroying the earth. The other thing is you don't ever have to be around people. It's not like if you took on homelessness, you'd have to be around homeless people.
Here's the thing. If you're George Clooney, and some of these guys too, by the way.
Don't ever, like I made a good point again, because that was not a good point.
I thought it was a great point.
Okay.
It
just makes me, I was triggered by somebody taking me seriously makes me feel insane. I start wiggling.
I only take you seriously on this podcast. The thing about a guy like George Clooney is you got to understand George Clooney, Brad Pitt, fucking who's the other guy, Leo. These guys have hit a slot machine in life where they're so it's like they've gotten so lucky and they've lived a life that's so absurd that to them they're like, well, yeah, of course, if I wanted to stop the earth from getting hotter, I could do it.
Right. It's like that old...
I don't blame them.
It's like the old trope about all the athletes believe in God. Like, if I could jump 10 feet in the air, of course, that's been said a million times. Like, yeah.
Here's
the
thing.
thing.
The actor thing is so much more random that they think, like, I think on some level, LeBron James can look in the mirror and go like, well, listen, genetically, I'm pretty lucky. I'm a pretty tall guy. All these guys are sort of like, there's no real reason why Leonardo DiCaprio is worth $2,500 billion. And some other hot guy is. I mean, Leo's like not particularly like fit. He's not.
He's got a beer gut. He's like wasted all the time.
I love when he's fit. Dude, when Leo gets fat,
film.
That's sort of my body type right there. Is the fat Leo.
You ever seen Fat Jack on the boat?
Fat Jack rules
Eating
too.
The sandwich.
Fat Jack rules. He
Jack
just stayed
Nicholson.
fat. I like that I guess you just have no choice once
At a
you're
certain
over
point,
than
you're like,
70.
fuck it.
Yeah, you
What
just
am I going
get
to go
fat.
keto?
Yeah.
I'm 70.
I'm telling you, that's when I get ripped. When I'm like 80, I want to be grandpa,
like the old pop-up ad guy.
I want to be pop-up
like
ad grandpa.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Is to be just some fucking weirdly ripped 80-year-old dude. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say. That's what we'll say on that. And we'll leave it there. We'll let you guys decide whether climate change is real. That's between you and...
Yeah, we report, you decide.
We report,
is
you
that
decide.
Taken?
I think it's not. But
okay.
But if it's not taken, we'll take it. If it is taken... what else we got here? Trucker rally in Canada.
I feel bad for Trudeau.
So what's going on right now, just to catch everybody up? I think everybody probably
The Freedom
knows.
Convoy?
In Canada, there's a lot of restrictions for COVID restrictions. Things like vaccination mandates, et cetera,
so-called passports.
They affect truck drivers because they're the guys going from coast to coast. They want to stop and go to a diner or do whatever. This can's empty, by the way. Every single time, it probably scares you that I'm going to knock it down.
That's crushed velvet, baby.
So these guys are upset. They've created a convoy. They're doing blockades now at certain ports in certain cities. It's delaying cargo. It's actually having some relatively serious ramifications on the economy. Kind of a good move. I mean, if you're gonna get a cause going, I realized while watching this, you gotta have truckers on your side. That's the thing all of these movements have lacked.
Truckers?
I'm
pretty sure Trump's movement did not lack truckers.
Tell you, and look what happened. Look what happened.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say about the guy. Might have one of the most successful candidacies for presidency ever.
Yeah.
His actual term as president is neither here nor there, to be completely honest with you.
Right.
He was another figurehead, another cog in the machine. Bucked a little bit, kind of liked it a little bit every once in a while, but
yeah.
Ultimately, his candidacy is amazing, and it's because he had truckers. Truckers make...
You're both children of truckers, right?
We're both children of truckers. I back the truckers convoy for this reason specifically.
You know why I love truckers is because I had a very, in retrospect, creepy uncle take me on a truck run, and he didn't touch me inappropriately once.
Yeah, so you learned
he
about
legitimately just wanted to show me how to use a double stick.
You learned about the code of conduct that we have in truck families.
Yeah, he was very respectful, but
Yeah.
he had way too much back hair to assume he would be that respectful.
Listen, truckers, it's a life that...
Good guy.
To be honest with you, machines should have replaced their jobs years ago. They're not jobs suitable for human beings.
Elon Musk is trying.
People talk about the danger that this is going to cause in our society. I'm telling you, no truck driver's job should be done by a human.
Right. Well,
they do crank for a reason.
Yeah.
They're banging hookers for $5 every other night.
Lizards. My favorite is the fucking roadside trailer church.
Yes.
That you see like the big cross on it where it's just a truck container.
Yeah. It's
I'm sure that's just hookers in there, right? It's
gotta be.
I would imagine.
This is a job that if you talk to them, they're always stressed because they're always running late.
Yeah.
It's not a good
They're
job.
taking yellow jackets and black beauties and all these things you do. Like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of these.
They have to put indentations on the side of the road because regularly these guys fall asleep.
The rumble
while they're driving.
strips. They also have to put those fucking dirt ramps.
Yeah.
In case the rumble strips doesn't wake them up, they can go into that dirt ramp.
It's the worst job on the planet. It's a highly abundant job. I mean, you go out on the road, it's like everything on the street is just a truck. You forget how much shit is just moved by trucks. Yeah. I think people are, sometimes I really think there's a private jet delivering my Amazon package. Like I genuinely think like obviously there's a guy super important runs it up to another guy. It's all trucks.
It's all trucks. And this studio is right near the big railroad. Yeah, depot, whatever you call that,
where they drop off the carts. Where, by the way, you're like Hyundai is in the business of like shipping things.
Yeah.
Like
it's Yao Ming, the basketball player, has a shipping container. Like what?
Yeah,
but there's that little strip of train track that Fox News has been blowing up over the people robbing the Amazon packages.
Yeah,
that's like almost walking distance from here.
Dude, and I recognize it.
Dude, I saw it like it was a landmark. Like I was looking at something from a movie where I was like, "Hey, that's where they're robbing all the Amazon trains that Fox News is always showing."
Yeah. We got to go as a team.
Yeah.
Field trip out to one of those
and rob a train. Get somebody's like carpal tunnel wristband.
I want to do a program on our show where we do a kind of a refer a trucker.
Yeah.
We got to get more truckers to listen to our show, dude. These guys need people like us to be broadcasting in their lives. We need supporters like them.
I bet we do. I bet we do have a few truckers because my old pod was much smaller than this pod and we had truckers.
Pretty much every time I talk to somebody who listens to this pod, they're like, yeah, I'm the chief engineering designer at Tesla.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, where are the guys with pitchforks who listen to this show? Yeah, I'm a lawyer. I work 90 hours a week at fucking doing, business litigation. It's like, I want a guy whose job is to fucking stack boxes.
Yeah. Well, that's who hosts the podcast.
I know. I like that Bryan and I are basically squid gaming for these people.
I know.
Rich, a bunch of motherfuckers are listening to the show being like, what would it be like if we pursued our dreams and failed?
Well, you know what would be fun for me? Let me spend an hour listening to idiots try to talk about issues that only I understand.
Too bad I understand them better, you dumb motherfucker. now I'm arguing with nobody.
Those Amazon train robberies, not to sound like Tyler, but my girlfriend brought up a good point where she was like, that must be the worst score ever for like a thief.
Yeah.
Like just think about what shit people are ordering from Amazon.
He's like, what'd you get? I got 2 Chinese alarm clocks.
I got a headphone splitter and a shoe container, a floppy shoe container. Like nobody orders good shit from Amazon.
I started living my entire life on Amazon. Like I only order good shit. Now I do groceries off of Amazon. I live by an Amazon Fresh. You know what Amazon Fresh is?
It's Whole Foods, right?
No. It's actually way better than Whole Foods. It's like if Whole Foods and Walmart was put together.
He says that's better.
That's so. Tyler knows what's up. You know when you go to Whole Foods and you just
Imagine if Whole Foods merged with Walmart.
Here's the thing.
It's perfect.
Here's what I'm saying.
Throw in Amazon.
Walmart.
That's the holy trinity of suck my dick evil.
There's a couple of awesome evil things about the Amazon Fresh store. First of all, I'm pretty sure it's just a warehouse for them to receive and send out packages. But they sort of thought to themselves, well, we're wasting a bunch of real estate here. Like we have this giant warehouse. What if while our guys were working on the floor, there was a full-on grocery store that people could shop at? I legitimately think that's what it is. But 2, the beauty of it is if you go to one, you'll realize like, oh, people are just dropping packages in and out. And
wait, you can go into an Amazon Fresh and shop in there?
And just shop in there. It's like a Ralph's meets a Whole Foods.
There's like forklifts ripping around and
they're not ripping around, but there's definitely an area for package pick. It looks like a UPS is in the corner of the store.
I'm still waiting for I'm waiting for the awesome part.
So sometimes you go to Whole Foods, right? And you're like, I just want a rock star. Like, do you guys give me some Tylenol? Something that like
I do have 365 aspirin, which I didn't want that.
Whole Foods acts like everything that corporate America came up before it was bad and wrong. So they're like, we don't do Tylenol. We don't.
Yeah, our toothpicks are all dipped in tea tree oil. Can I get a regular toothpick?
Sometimes you want some shit that works. You want like a deodorant from
Can I get some fluoride in my toothpaste?
I'm dying for aluminum under my armpits. Aluminum is the only thing that stops stench, apparently.
Well, I imagine the chemicals you're fucking sweating out.
Oh, it's rough. Well, depending on what's going on in my life, I'm a very emotional stench. Like, my stench is related to my emotional state. If I'm stressed, it's even worse.
You're like a bug.
I'm exactly like a bug.
Like a stink bug.
Without a question.
When you're stressed, you just lay on your back and stink.
And just fucking stench it up. But Amazon Fresh is like, yo, you want to get fucking a rock star, but we're gonna give it to you at an Amazon price. It's $1.50 for this rock star. None of this 2 for $3.50 horse shit that they're giving you. We're giving you the actual fucking price, and you don't gotta buy two.
So it's like Costco or Sam's Club.
It's not as expensive. It's not as like. It's not
bulky.
It's not as bulky, but it's like kind of somewhere between. Amazon just fucking rules. I just order my shit from them now. Have you heard of this website?
Amazon? No.
$12.99 a month. These guys will just show up with shit to your place.
I don't even know when I started paying for Prime. I don't know when they charge it.
Somehow
I've just had Prime for like 8 years, and it always works. I've never seen a charge.
I'll take you one further, Brian. I don't know what bank account my Amazon account is tied to.
Oh, for real, dude. I'm getting a $19.99 a month charge to Dropbox, and I cannot access it, and it's coming right out of my PayPal.
Yeah.
I call PayPal. They're like, you got to take it up at Dropbox. You know what Dropbox does for customer service? Mm-hmm. They created like a Reddit-like forum for other Dropbox customers to answer your questions.
Yeah.
You can't even get a representative from Dropbox on the fucking horn, or even they don't even have like a robot who answers your questions. It's just some other guy who uses Dropbox. Oh, that happened to me once, and I had to do this.
I love that. What if we get an email next week that's like, hey, what's going on? I listened to the show. I started Dropbox 8 years ago.
Yeah, I know.
I'm the CEO
Help
of Dropbox.
Me find it's fucking $120 a year that I'm spending on nothing.
Saudi Arabian Shark Tank. It's Dropbox with 3 X's. It's you do file sharing, but only porn. It's a Dropbox, but only for nudes and homemade pornography.
I don't know if that's made for that shark. I think that's more just proper shark. That's a Mark Cuban. Take the Mark Cuban. I wouldn't take that to the Saudi family.
Although Mark Cuban's a little up his own A these days. You may have to get to one of these scrappier sharks, you know? I like the guy who started Next Door, for example.
Yeah, who else is on? There's somebody new on there lately.
They have a wild card one where they're bringing in on a regular basis.
Wasn't Jay-Z on one recently?
They'll bring Alex A-Rod. They'll bring I
hate A-Rod.
There was even an old episode where one time they brought in Jeff Foxworthy as a shark. Kevin Hart, that makes sense.
Kevin Hart's an actual entrepreneur.
Jeff Foxworthy is an entrepreneur in some capacity too. I mean, not as
well. I guess what I'm saying is that he's an investor in a million businesses. Kevin Hart,
yeah,
he's a guy who actually does that. I don't know if Foxworthy does that or not, but I do know that A-Rod. What's his secret to making money? Is to just shoot steroids and get the most bloated contract in the history of baseball.
Well, this guy it sounds a little personal, buddy. Jeez, what A-Rod do to you? Fuck your girlfriend? Jesus Christ!
No, he was a Yankee.
I forgot. This is like a Shiite thing to you.
Yes. The Red Sox are the Sunnis, and the Yankees are the Shiites.
Oh my God!
Now you get it.
Oh God! What a bunch of idiots!
Yes.
How come nobody ever told me Yankees were so stupid?
Yeah, the Yankees are the Shiites.
Oh my God! They don't know. Oh God! What a confused
and the
group
Houston
of people.
Astros are the Sufis.
Oh, good. Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, to be honest with you. I've seen Houston Astro fans. They don't seem like the Sufis I know, but
they're just goofy down there.
They are goofy. But Houston is still Houston. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move. Did we say anything about the truckers?
We didn't say anything about the truckers. What I want to say about Justin Trudeau, though, that I feel so bad for.
He's exercising his emergency powers right now.
Yeah. So he has the right to freeze
bank
account
accounts.
assets. He can take the insurance off the truck drivers. He can just shut their insurance down.
Can I be real with you? Doesn't Trudeau, I feel like Trudeau lost a lot of lefty points, but I feel like a lot of people who are like Trump supporters are like, damn, strong man. Like, I like it. Like,
I love the authority.
There is a part of me that was like, yeah, just crushing him like that.
I know. I felt that kind of probably got your blood boiling in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah, it fired you up a little bit.
Crush your enemies using processes and protocols. Like,
I feel bad for Trudeau because he's too hot to have to deal with all this shit.
What's with this hair he has lately? Have you noticed lately his hair, he's got like a rat tail?
Yeah, he's losing it.
Is he doing one of these things?
He's
where
going Aaron Rodgers.
Is he doing a thing where he's still so COVID safe that he doesn't get haircuts? Is that the image that he's trying to present? You know what I'm talking? Remember when for a while guys were trying to fucking show how COVID safe they were by having stupidly long hair?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think Trudeau is doing that right now. Pull up that video that I have of Trudeau. You'll take a look at it right here.
I just feel like these are above his pay. He's a face. You know, like he shouldn't have to deal with
I'll be real with you. I don't think he's as hot as everybody says he is.
He's too hot for this issue.
Let's play. I kind of think
you imagine him talking to truckers? Just that pretty boy.
To me, he looks like a trucker. When I look at him right now in his current state, he looks like a trucker where you're like, damn, dude, you could have gone to Hollywood. Like, you know, he's got a leathery skin.
Has anybody ever made the meme about how, has anybody ever made this meme? Because I thought of this today and I was like, somebody had to have done this about how the aging in office.
Yeah.
Where like, look how much you age in office, but you show a blackface picture of Trudeau and then you show him now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Put that in your $1 million.
Okay.
Tyler, put that in $1 Million Ideas by Bryan and Ramsey. I'm putting my name on that one. I like that one. All right, hit play on this.
So-called freedom convoys protesting COVID restrictions have been bubbling for weeks. But now police in Western Canada have arrested 11 people and seized guns.
Wait. We arrest 11 people.
That's 10% of their population. So
late today, Canadian
okay, look at his hair.
Justin Trudeau.
What's going on with his hair?
Yeah, it's really long.
He looks like a Cabbage Patch Kid.
But there is a thing in hockey culture where you either don't shave your beard or cut your hair during playoff season. So maybe it's playoff season.
Look how ridiculous this man. Doesn't his face? He looks like a Pixar character. This guy, like not in a good way.
He does look like a Pixar character.
He looks like he's fucking what's the kid's name? Woody in Toy Story.
Yeah.
He's the kid's dad.
Started popping up around the world, from New Zealand to France to Israel. In the U.S., they're being embraced by some conservative politicians.
There's your man.
Rand Paul.
Dude, he loves Rand Paul.
No, I don't love Rand Paul. I love Ron Paul.
Right, but Rand Paul is as close as you got in office right now.
I'll be honest with you, Rand Paul was a little too much of a dandy for me. He's too like... What's he put?
Are also
they were saying that these Facebook accounts pushing this are
some of them are, that's with everything.
Disruptive convoys.
There's even Bangladesh accounts pushing the Yankees, I bet.
Specifically to push their anti-vaccine message.
All right, hit pause on this. Everybody wants to turn this into some fucking issue where it's like fake.
I don't think they're turning. I think this legitimately is about vaccines. No. I don't think that's a twist by the media.
This is no longer about vaccines because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Trudeau actually lifted a lot of the mandates.
No, the province of Ontario did.
Oh, just one place.
Yeah, Ontario. I mean, I don't know when this comes out. I don't know where we'll be at. But as of today, Ontario loosened their things. And
either way, it's becoming more about them versus us, sort of, because he's going to basically bend on pretty much everything, I imagine, and they're still going to keep doing this thing. I mean, look, I'm not saying they're right.
I don't know if he's bending. I mean, he's just exercises a lot of powers to not bend.
I don't know if I think that it's clear to me that probably there's some numbnuttery going on around there. But the media has this immediate knee-jerk sort of like, on Facebook, it turns out the Russian colluders were making Facebook pages supporting these guys. Like, there's a lot of that kind of QAnon mucking it up, I think,
right.
that
but
they
I
purposely
bet that is
take.
True, though.
It's got to be true to some degree, without a doubt. To me, it's interesting that the media takes one angle, and then from there, the other guys take the exact opposite. Like Fox News can't get enough of this story.
I know.
These guys are fucking basically 9/11 first responders.
Yeah. Oh, no, they can't get enough of it. They're also, did you see that guy doxed all the donators to them?
Yes, because they had a GoFundMe account that went
millions and millions of dollars.
Look, I don't know if
I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't change anything.
I don't support them for the exact same reason I don't support anybody.
Yeah.
Everything is impossible.
But also, it's like, why the fuck are we even talking about Canada? Here's what Canada is. Canada is Montana entirely, and then stick in Seattle, Paris, and London.
I had no idea they only had like 30 million people
who
live in this entire country.
They've got they got Seattle, London, and Paris, which is Montreal, Toronto, and Vancouver.
Yeah.
The rest is just Montana. So when I see these freedom convoys, I'm like, yeah, most Canadians live in a field.
Yeah, most of them.
That's what I'm not surprised they act like this.
When I saw I spent a decent amount of time in Canada this last year, 4 days. 4 days split over 2 weeks.
In the same, just two towns?
I went to Vancouver and Edmonton.
Yeah.
So I saw the range of it. And I'll tell you what. That's basically it. I mean, I guess Toronto is like a slightly different vibe.
London, yeah. And Montreal, you didn't see French
I didn't see French Canada. That's correct.
Where you want to be. That's the best part.
That's the part where I think I might fit in a little bit more. They're intellectuals, I hear.
Would they also do like PCP like it's weed?
Love it.
At least the punks I was hanging out with.
I'm
not saying all people in Montreal.
I need intellectuals.
2 guys I know.
Yeah, we're talking about 2 guys you know who were American.
Actually, I was going to say one was from Japan, honestly. Legitimately.
I'm just saying I need intellectuals who abuse PCP to like me. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying that. I obviously, my ultimate point of view on all of this stuff when it comes to vaccine, I go, listen, acquiesce, buddy. Like, there's no way you're going to win this fight. This fight is over. So do your thing.
Well, how would Fox News, because they're apparently headed to the U.S., this convoy. Could you imagine if a Mexican freedom convoy was coming up
and they,
north? How Fox News would handle that freedom convoy?
I hear you.
They'd be freaking out,
dude. My body. If you're anti or what is it, pro-life? I forget. Pro-choice. Pro-choice means you love abortion, right? You want to do it all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you were pro-choice, I would be linking up with my
pro-choice
body.
means you're a decadent Westerner who is just full of cum.
Pro-choice means you just kill the thing immediately as soon as it comes into your body because you think that it's a better idea.
Pro-choice is when you spit in the eye of God, right? Is that the one?
I forget which one is pro-choice. Is pro-choice the one where you just are a murderer all the time, every day, and you support murder?
Was that where you're a godless heathen with a fast track to hell?
If you're a pro-choice sinner. Right now, I would link up with these because these guys are doing a lot of my body, my choice. Like, let's fucking link it up.
There is that link. Yeah.
There is that link. You get those guys involved in your cause, you can really fucking change that Texas law. Truckers. I mean, that's Texas. Texas respects truckers.
They do. And they are, for some, like you said, inexplicable reason, the vein of this country. They're the artery that transports the blood to the heart, to the brain.
If you're listening to this show and you're a trucker, please tell another trucker about this show. We're trying to get more truckers. We need to get this show convoyed up.
Yeah. We'd love to be able to get to the point where when we live stream, we take calls and we can get you to do the over the thing.
Oh, I would love to be like, if we don't hit a certain Patreon level, we strike and we're going to attack all the ports. Yeah. We're going to stop all the shipments from coming into Long Beach.
If stamps.com does not sponsor this podcast,
we start doing domestic terrorism through economy.
Okay, well, point made on the Canadians.
Point has been made. All right, let's. Should we close? What do we got? Let's talk about Putin real quickly, and we'll get the fuck out of here. We've been rolling long enough, I think, on this guy. Looks like as of today, by the time you hear this, I'm sorry to say that this will be resolved at some point. I know, but. We are still looking as if we are on the precipice of another world war. Although you brought something up to me the other day. I called this, I sort of said, hey, we're almost at World War III. They're really all world wars. They're all world wars.
I know. I was like, well, what about the 3 Crusades, the fucking Carthage? I mean, the world has been at war forever.
So the idea that Americans happen to be there for the first 2. For the first 2 world wars.
Yeah. Like, just once the Americans were in, there's 1 and 2.
Well, if we're in it, I mean, this is the kind of confidence Americans have, where they're like, if we're in the war, I imagine it's a world war.
I know.
That's not 2 dumb Arab countries fighting.
Yeah, we're all the way over here. Yeah, it's not some goofy English Canterbury Tale knight going over to fight some Persian.
Yeah.
That's not the world.
Genghis Khan literally did that. Genghis Khan actually took on and conquered the known world.
As did Hannibal, as did the
Alexander
Greeks,
the Great.
as did the Romans, as did many, many people waged war all over the world.
Yeah, but none of them had a world war, though, until we got involved. Until 1918, it was never a world war. Just a bunch of countries fighting each other.
Right. Yeah, that's right, because we got in late on that war. That war started in 1913, 1914.
Yeah, we got in pretty deep.
It wasn't World War until 1918, where we were in for about 10 months. It was like my military service.
Yeah.
It was like We jumped in and got out. Now we've been getting discounts at Denny's ever since.
Bro, do you think Germany is sitting there? I mean, Germany must be just cracking their knuckles right now, right? Like, oh, dog, we've been waiting for a fucking world war because Germany, they're ready to roll.
Well, I mean, yeah, they've been having whoever took over from Merkel has been having talks with Putin. Like they're getting in
every time. Germany constantly. I mean, right now, if you look into it, Germany is still at the precipice of overrunning the entire EU. Like
I know, always
continuously break this country down, and they continuously come back stronger.
Well, remember in 2008 or 2009, they just tanked Greece.
As white guys,
they just flipped Greece like a pancake.
They're sort of white Japan. You know what I mean? Where it's like they're smart, these guys, and they're kind of orderly in a way that culturally that the rest of us aren't. They're a scary group of people. They must be just chomping like, dude, we'd love to fucking just crack into another world war right now.
You know who's another culture that's like that, but they're just not big enough? I learned this over in Spain, the Catalonians. You know how like Spain is 5 kind of cultures smashed together to make Spain.
Yeah.
So where Barcelona is, they're the Catalonians, and they are like brilliant engineers, super organized, but they're just too small
to get it going.
But man, they have that German Japanese streak in them.
Arabs, none of that. Zero of that. Just nothing. We love chilling too much.
Like, well, it's so fucking hot.
It's hot. We have something called the hookah. I don't know if you know anything about a hookah, but you could kill 5 hours a day doing that.
yeah, easy. And then you're dead of cancer by the time you're 50.
Phones are the best thing that happened to the Middle East.
I remember one time I was at a hookah lounge and I was smoking. I Googled it and I was like, how much tobacco is in a hookah? And they're like, one hookah session is equivalent to smoking 300 cigarettes.
It's crazy because you're smoking for 7 hours.
But you don't get like sick. You don't get lightheaded.
You can do it. You're taking your pacing. That means you're pacing yourself.
Yeah.
If you are a drug addict like me, you can get sick off of a hookah because you'll just go, I'm going to hit it so many times in a row.
No, I have to argue with a local about Aleppo.
Yeah.
And then take a hit.
We like that too much to get into any of the other shit, like science and engineering. I mean, the problem is we got them, and it doesn't do you any good. You're under military occupation. There's a civil war. It's like, there's not.
Well, hey, the UAE's sending women to space.
To keep them there, probably. UAE's. I guarantee you it's the Sultan's wife. I guarantee she's the first woman to go to space. Amir Mohammed bin UAE himself.
Yeah. So we're on the precipice of war, but I don't think we are. I think that as
of today,
as much as the New York Times and the Washington Post are pushing it and have such a hard on,
they are pushing it quite hard. As of today, Russia claims that they have pulled back troops. However, CNN and all the other, the hysterical women news networks, they're all saying like, but it's not the case. Like the satellites, they're not showing that they're actually moving. So there's debate about whether or not it's happening.
Here's what I wonder, and I guess I understand the basis of the conflict is that Russia has a strong interest apparently in not having a NATO country on their border. Mm-hmm. And the United States, Ukraine has a lot of oil and a potential pipeline that's going to go from Ukraine to Germany, and they don't want Russia to have those resources.
Even further than that, the origins of this conflict, modern day Ukraine is where modern day Russia actually started.
Right.
So there's that philosophical concept of like, imagine.
I'm talking about the American interests.
Oh, you're talking about the American interests.
Yeah. I understand the Russia and the Ukraine thing.
I don't know if people know that about Russia. It would be as if you said, what if Virginia was part of Canada or something? Like hey, but that's where our country started kind of thing.
Right.
That's what the Ukraine is to Vladimir Putin. And this happened in his lifetime. I mean, we're talking about a guy who watched the Soviet Union disintegrate. So they think has a lot of...
But they were the Ukraine before the Soviet Union too.
Wait.
They were an independent country
prior to
with
the Soviet Union.
They absorbed into the Soviet Union and then back again after the disillusionment.
That's a bit confusing to me because I read that it's where modern day Russia began. So I don't know how that fits into that story.
Because I would imagine modern day Russia is still, you're probably looking at 1500s.
Something super long time ago.
Yeah,
okay,
you're probably still looking further back. But in the 1800s, there was a country called Ukraine.
So he saw then, I should say, the disintegration of the reunited Russia.
Right. But it's Ukraine, because like one thing that like the American media was saying, the stuff that I was seeing was that they were worried that that Russia was going to try to reach its USSR size again. But you think they would have absorbed Belarus by now, because Belarus has such a hard on for Russia. They want to be Russian.
Yeah,
so
but
bad.
they don't want. That's why
they don't. Want, they just
wouldn't-
want Ukraine.
I wouldn't even want Belarus for wanting me that bad. It's like a girl who like is super obsessed with you, and you're like, honestly, I can't do more than a hookup. Like that's just you're kind of already asking a lot from me for showing. You know what I mean? Belarus is that to me.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ukraine is this chick where you're like, that's the girlfriend that first broke my heart.
That's the dream girl.
That's the dream girl. I knew it was meant to be, and now it seems like by force I'm going to make it.
Right,
so.
and she's filled with oil.
and a lot of trade. You could trade on her back.
Also, apparently, I think like most of the world's wheat comes from there. Like they're like resource heavy.
And there are weird parts of her body that seem to want to reunite with me.
Yeah, there's an eastern part of her body that claims that she is me.
Her knee as well. I've recognized as. That's the thing they did today, is apparently Russia has decided that all of the splintered groups in the Ukraine, Russia will now recognize them as foreign entities, which legitimizes their movement, and also it opens
like the
the doors.
ethnic Russian regions.
So the guys who are like, we're not under Ukraine, we're under Russia, they're basically like, all right, well, we now recognize you guys as a legitimate force. We'll start kicking you some cash.
I wonder how different is the language of Ukrainian versus Russian?
Straight up Russia. This podcast is part of Russia. If you'd like, if we can get some funding from you, this podcast is part of Russia.
No, I just mean linguistically, like, because they were talking about like, Putin always talks about how Eastern Ukrainians speak Russian.
Yeah.
Which was my way of finding out Ukrainian was a language. I assumed they spoke Russian.
That's what I thought.
So I'm like, how different is Ukrainian?
I used to run a phone card operation that, as we talked about on the show, ran right through the Crimea Peninsula. In fact, during sanctioned
Pre or
times.
post?
During.
While
it was illegal to do any business with Ukraine, anything pertaining to Crimea, I was making calls with people and running prepaid cards that were, by the way, being tracked to a multinational, multi-level marketing company. Like, it was crazy. I looked him up the other day. My old boss, we talked about it on the show, episode, I don't know, 31, whatever. It's called Groomed for Power. Look it up. My boss, just 2 months ago, had the Department of Justice put up, they do their indictment or whatever. They said they've accused him at being at the helm of a $150 million fraudulent payment processing scheme. All of my direct bosses were served and arrested, and he is not in the country anymore. I hit him up on Instagram to be like, we'd love to give you our podcast, to give you a platform.
He's on the lam?
He's on the lam.
So I'm assuming where are the good countries to be on the lam?
He's in Lebanon.
Oh.
I don't think we have any sort of extradition with really any of the Middle Eastern countries.
Oh, I would imagine if we did have one with one of them, it would be Lebanon.
Lebanon could be it, but they're still not pro-America. They're more pro-Europe.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean?
French
they speak French. They have a connection with all that kind of stuff.
They were conquered by them. So
yeah, we're kind of ugly.
We've never
Americans.
conquered them, but they hate us more for some reason.
People are very dumb.
That's so funny.
It's a great reason to not hate us. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I was saying that I think Putin is potentially funnier than Trump. Can you pull up the video of Putin? This is something he's been doing. Every time somebody tries to come and talk some sense into Putin to get him to not invade Ukraine, he makes them sit across from him at this ridiculous table.
I saw you misunderstood that.
No, he's done it multiple times.
But the times is because the other person refuses to take a Russian COVID test because Macron didn't want him to have his DNA because he thought he was going to do some fucked up Russian shit with him. So it was either sit at this table.
Hilarious table.
Or take a Russian DNA COVID test.
It doesn't need to be that table.
It's even funnier.
That's why it's funny, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It really just needs to be 10 feet apart. He's literally trying to have a conversation with a guy.
It's like Batman 1.
Batman 1, yeah, exactly. Play on this time just so we can show the video. He's been doing this with every single one of the people that he's had those conversations with.
That lens that they're shooting that with must be the size of a satellite dish.
And you know what I love about this? Listen how quiet he's talking. He's muttering.
He's so funny.
He's mumbling. On the other side, Macron is sitting there. And look, I guess he probably has a guy who's doing an interpretation in his ear, but he's not. Look, Putin's not making it easy to have a conversation.
Oh my God, this is so funny. I also love how he says the Kremlin. It just sounds so evil.
He is.
Like instead of Russia or Mother Russia, he says the Kremlin. He's so KGB.
I'm kind of.
These are other people's goofy stuff.
These are people doing their. Okay, yeah. People like Putin fucking.
I love when people do this shit because it's like, it's never funnier than the real thing.
It's never funny.
You know what I mean? Like they make memes out of these things and they stink. The Bernie with the mittens on. The real thing was what was funny about it. There was not one funny meme to me made about Bernie with his mittens on.
Yeah.
This shit isn't funny either. But
so now we're seeing, by the way, just scene after scene of like kind of
people
a wild...
curling, figure skating on the table, The Last Supper, blah blah blah.
Yeah. The Last Supper is okay. I'm okay with that one. That was kind of funny. They fit perfectly in there. This one I don't really care for. The one that's like it's like a smaller version.
Yeah, it's like a pyramid.
Doesn't even make
Kiss
sense.
is on it.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
I like that we're just
It's a seesaw.
now they're doing a seesaw. That one's kind of funny. That one's okay. I'm okay with
You
that
like
one.
the special effects of it.
If it makes sense, it makes sense. Like Last Supper was perfect. They were all there.
But so you sent me a Frontline documentary that kind of covered from right up before the what would you call that, the repatriation of Crimea up to a week or two ago. And in that documentary, they show some guys who claim that they were paid by Russia to storm Ukrainian government buildings. And there's just footage of these gangsters just indiscriminately firing a weapon into like local Capitol buildings.
How much of a storming of the Capitol was that versus ours?
That guy claimed they got $40 an hour. Which, who has ever heard of an assassin charging hourly?
Yeah.
That is insane. Like, do you think he fudged the books a little
Without
bit?
a doubt.
Do you think he was like, because, I mean, it takes about 8 seconds to shoot a gun.
And
then you're out of rounds.
Yeah, but I drove from Kiev. Kiev is 45 minutes with traffic now. Not that a lot of kids are doing this.
I had to drive 20 miles out of town to throw my gun into a river. So that sounds like a lot.
The time that I spent scratching off the serial number.
Yeah.
Of course, hey, you want to count me going to the dry cleaners afterwards to get some blood out of my shoes?
These are just like mafia dudes who Russia hires to instigate. They're the real version of what like Alex Jones says George Soros is doing.
Yeah.
This is like Putin's like hiring these guys. And I just was thinking on the other day that they were getting $40 an hour to murder.
Yeah.
And I was getting $65 an hour somewhere that I canceled. I canceled on something and it was like not murdering. I'll tell you that.
$40 an hour. Now, are they, do you know if they're 1099 or W-2'd or what's the, are they an independent contractor? Because that's going to make a difference for me. If you're going to give me a salary at $40 an hour to murder somebody, no way. $40 an hour, but I'm an independent contractor. Now I have a lot of tax advantages.
Yeah, and you don't want to be doing that paperwork at the end of the year because then you got to remember you're like, who was I murdering for?
Then you got to call
Russia. Was I murdering for Russia? And I was murdering for Russia in April, then I murdered for the Ukraine in June.
Yeah, hey, Putin, can you please send me the 1099K? That's not. It's like a W-2, but it specifies
1099 Kremlin. And can you send it to this hideout? Like, yeah, it's a pain.
It would just be.
And these guys, they're straight up thugs on both sides.
Yeah.
The Ukrainian separatists, there's a little bit of neo-Nazism sprinkled in there, and then the Russian loyalists, there's a little bit of mafia spread in there. Not saying both those movements are Nazis and mafiosos, but they're in there for sure.
For sure.
And these guys are straight out of like a James Bond movie. They like have those shitty leather jackets that like all those Slavic people wear and the shaved head. They look like the most stereotypical like Slavic villains.
Yeah.
And they're on both sides. It's just crazy. And the whole time you're watching it, you go, I don't want to sound like, some weird isolationist, but it feels like it's a little too rich for it's none of our business.
I had no idea from that documentary that Russia has the second most powerful military in the world. They have a more powerful military than China. Did you know that, Tyler?
No, I would have assumed China.
You would think China, but I guess China is. I was talking to Bryan.
Doesn't North Korea have like a 1 million man army too, though.
Yeah, but I mean, some of those guys are dead.
They have like soft fingernails from being malnourished.
Yeah. It's like the way that we had people vote in our elections that died. You're like, technically Trump got 79 billion votes, but 8 million of them were dead people. So it's the way this place works. But nonetheless, we'll follow up on this. I mean, look, this will be out. This story will either have gone one way or the other. So if you're listening to the show right now, comment below how much worse or better it's gotten.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, because we are 8 days out from sending this.
Yeah, this will be out in a minute. So, but let's wrap this one up. We've been going for about 2 hours. Tyler's got to get back to what are you doing tonight, Tyler? You guys watching the Back to the Future trilogy?
he's decoupaging with his girlfriend.
We called Tyler we did talk about this a few nights ago. And Tyler's like, damn, I was going to go mini golfing. Didn't know we were podcasting today.
Yeah.
He was actually going to go mini golfing.
What's wrong with that?
No, it's just the funniest activity that you were planning on doing.
Yeah.
It's not that I was like,
and he's going to be like Chubbs and Happy Gilmore. He's going to be reaching over his girlfriend's back giving her a swing. I've heard tell that all you like. A friend of ours told me to never hang out with you and your girlfriend because all you do is make out.
I know who that is.
That's what bullshit. I heard. All they do is just make. They like go out and they just make out at the end of the bar.
It happened one time.
Tyler, that rules. Tyler, don't gotta defend yourself. That rules. That's an awesome reputation to have. That you're a fucking pimp. Yeah, absolutely. I have that reputation for I want to put that reputation out for me too. Yeah, we don't want to hang out with Ramsey. He's always macking with some chick.
Yeah, but it's the same girl. Nobody wants to see somebody make out with their girlfriend. You want to see somebody make out with a stranger.
Hell yeah.
Cool dudes make out with strangers.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right.
You can numb up your lips or something, or numb up her lips, or do something weird next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this bad boy up. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/WHotW. For now, that's what it is. All the relevant show.
Could be changing to the Los Angeles football podcast team.
It is what it is right now. All the relevant. Hey, follow Tyler on all social media platforms. All of that stuff is going to be in our show notes as always. Brian, do you have anything to plug these people? Do you have
just go to my Instagram? I have a bunch of dates coming up. Just go to my Instagram. February 25th is the next Adrenaline, 7:30 Friday at the Hollywood Improv Lab.
Ooh, yeah. And if you're listening to this, I guess by the time this comes out, April 8th and 9th, I'm going to be at the at the American Comedy Company in San Diego. So go get tickets for those dates as well. All relevant notes will be in the show notes, or all relevant links will be in the show notes. If you have nothing else to say, I got nothing else to say.
Friday, the February 24th, I'm headlining in Fresno. So if we have any listeners in Fresno.
I think we do actually. We unfortunately have a ton of listeners in Fresno.
So go to my Instagram for the venue, but it's Thursday, February 24th. I'll be headlining in Fresno.
If you got nothing else to say, Brian, and I got nothing else to say, Tyler, you have anything to plug these fine people?
I'm good, dude.
We were just plugging Tyler's goodness then, baby. On behalf of everybody here at the Blank Blank Nation, peace be on to the prophets.
Long live Vladimir. And I probably shouldn't say that.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's better than the Nazi thing I said earlier.